Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to do a little song analysis and breakdown of the new 1975 song, If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know. So let's get right into it. So like a big thing to know with this song is the amount of space that they create. So right off the bat, when everything breaks in, you hear the synths all over the place and the guitars and the bass holding down the bottom. Just gives like a huge sense of space, so no matter what speakers you're on, it sounds way bigger than it is, which is really cool. But one thing that's really interesting about the music theory and chord structure here is that the entire time you hear the bass chugging away on that same note. That's the one chord of the progression. So it's a D in this case, just going D, 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 D. So the chords that you hear the guitar play don't exactly match up with that, though they're in the same key. The guitar kind of acts as not, it doesn't drive the chord progression as much as it adds like fluff to the top of it. So the bass is like what gives like the musical information here. So now we're in the pre-chorus. It goes from the 2 to the 3, which is pretty typical for a pre-chorus. It like builds tension, and then you hear here it goes to the 5, right? So you want it to resolve, but it doesn't. It stays on the 5, then it goes to the 6, then it goes to the 4. So let's pause it for a second. So there's a lot there. So what's really cool about that is usually a song will either start on the 1, the 4, or the 6 when it's like a big anthemic chorus like that. But in this case, we're starting on the 5, which is strange. So if you listen to the chords, we're in the key of D, so the 5 chord is an A. So it's going 5, 6, 4, which sounds like, it gives like the feeling of like longing a little bit. So it's not what you'd expect to be like this big and like chorus that makes you want to like roll down your windows kind of thing. But that's a really cool part of the song, and then let's get back into it. So another thing that kind of gives the chorus the vibe that it has is his vocals go back and forth with the brass. So you hear that really catchy, the thing coming right here where it's like da 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 da. So what gives it that cool vibe is like the vocals don't step on the brass and the brass doesn't step on the vocals either. So got a small drop here, and then we're right back into the verse the same way that it was. So there's really not much to note here that's too different from the last verse. But what didn't we talk about the first time through? I like that melody that sits over the second verse. You hear it occasionally. It's just reverbed out, very quiet, and sounds like it's super far away. That gives like a very cool vibe to the verse. And then I like this pre-chorus here because the brass comes in too, so it's also punching up. You hit the 2, you hit the 3. So the brass is really like driving that home and like building up that tension. And then we're back in this huge chorus, right? Vocals go to the brass. Such a good melody, and also if you listen closely, you hear behind the brass there's a little bit of like a sparkly synth sound, so that almost like makes the brass more spacey than it would be. And it's like sometimes you hear it and sometimes you don't, like maybe they automated the amount of it that you hear, but it's super cool. And then this sax solo, just like it's such a good vibe for the song. And you hear the chord progression going on in the background is the same as what was going on during the chorus, but it's almost like more driving and less punchy. So it's so good to just sit underneath, and then as you make it through this bridge, you hear these vocals coming in occasionally that kind of just poke out, and like it adds to the space and the vibe of the song, really. This drop is cool. Do you hear like the whoosh, and then the brass comes in, and the song's back into it. That's like a cool way to do the drop, and then like, we're right back in. The way the vocal melody plays off the brass melody too, it feels like they're so congruent with each other. The song just makes a lot of sense sonically. But it's interesting because if you look at the chord progressions and you just play them out of context of the brass and all the 70s vibe instruments, you'd think like it wouldn't have like this huge effect. It would feel more of like like maybe like a slow or sadder song, but it's something about the way that they combine all the instruments that make it sound so awesome. But I'm gonna finish rambling on for now, and thanks for catching the next one.